This story is truly emotional and based on real events. It shows how two brothers travel to another country in search of work, only to face a series of events that leave them desperately longing for even a drop of water. Let's begin the story. At the airport in Saudi Arabia, we meet two brothers, Najib and Hakim. Najib only knows his native language, Malayalam, and a little Hindi, while his younger brother Hakim is educated and speaks English and Hindi. When they arrive at the airport, no one is there to pick them up, even though they were told that someone from the company would be there to collect them. The people who traveled with them leave in an air-conditioned car. The brothers give an airport employee the company's phone number to call. When the man calls, it rings, but no one answers. The employee tells them it's Friday, a holiday, so no one is picking up. It was already 8:30 p.m. Hakim tells his brother, worried that their mother might be concerned since they hadn't called home yet. Just then, a sheikh approaches them, speaking in Arabic, which they don't understand. They assume he must be the company representative sent to pick them up. They get into the car with him, and as they drive, Najib becomes very thirsty, but they have no water. He asks the sheikh for water, but the sheikh tells him to be quiet. It was very late when Hakim realized they hadn't called home, and their family would be worried. He asks the sheikh to stop somewhere with a phone, but the sheikh doesn't stop and keeps driving. After a long journey, they reach a desert, leaving the brothers shocked and confused as they were supposed to go to a town. The sheikh calls another sheikh and tells him to take one of the boys, promising to return the next morning. In this way, he sells Hakim. The brothers scream and cry, begging not to be separated. Hakim pleads with his brother not to leave him, but the sheikh beats Najib severely and forces him into the car. He takes Najib to another man and says, "I brought you someone." Najib tries to explain in his language, but no one understands him. Najib feels completely alone in this foreign land, without his younger brother, who used to help him understand everything. Najib notices an old man nearby who speaks Hindi, but Najib doesn't know Hindi well. He gestures to the old man for water. The old man points to a water tank. Najib goes and drinks to his fill, as he was extremely thirsty. He wonders where he will sleep in this desert. He sees his boss sleeping in a tent and lies down outside in the cold. Najib misses his village, family, and his life. He had always wanted to go to the Gulf, watching friends bring back expensive items from there. His dream was to fulfill his family's needs. He once asked a friend how much it costs to go to the Gulf. His friend told him that a visa would cost around 30,000 rupees. The friend offered to help him, as his uncle was in the business of arranging such things. Najib lamented that he didn't have that kind of money and would have to sell his house. His friend suggested mortgaging the house, assuring him that he could repay the loan once he started earning in the Gulf. So, Najib mortgaged his house and went to Saudi Arabia. He remembered his pregnant wife, Sino, and how his mother and wife had prepared many dishes to celebrate his departure. He thought of earning quickly to repair their home. With these thoughts, he fell asleep. His boss finds him sleeping near the tent and rudely kicks him awake, yelling at him for daring to sleep there. The next morning, the old man milks goats and tells Najib to give the milk to the boss. Speaking in Hindi, which Najib partially understands, Najib mistakenly drinks the milk himself. The old man snatches it away and gestures that it's meant for the boss. Najib hands over the milk. Once again, he pleads with the Arab boss to let him go, explaining that he didn't come for this. But the boss doesn't understand and beats him. Later, another sheikh arrives, and Najib shows him his address and number, hoping for help, but the sheikh tears it up. Najib, helpless and broken, cries. The sheikh gives him some bread, which is so hard that it's difficult to chew. He gestures to soak the bread in water to make it easier to eat. Najib, hungry, is forced to eat it. Nearby, an abandoned car serves as his makeshift shelter for sleep. In the morning, when Najib goes to the toilet, the sheikh kicks him from behind and takes his water away. Najib wonders what he did wrong, and the old man explains that the water is bought from the city and must not be wasted. Najib is humiliated, realizing he's fallen so low that he doesn't even have water for basic hygiene. A man arrives, and Najib asks if he would take him away in his car. Just then, the sheikh appears, questioning what they were talking about, and hits Najib harshly with the butt of his gun. Najib reminisces about bathing in his village's river, not having bathed for days here, where even water for a toilet is scarce. One morning, the sheikh wakes Najib and tells him to milk the goats, a task the old man usually did, but he was nowhere to be seen. At first, the goats kick Najib, injuring him, but he gradually gets used to it and starts milking them because, without doing this, he won't even get the hard bread to eat. Some days pass. Najib looks at his reflection in the broken car's mirror and realizes he is no longer the same person. His body has weakened. Seeing himself like this makes him very sad. He goes to a hill to contemplate suicide, where vultures are tearing apart something. He goes down and sees that it's the old man's corpse. He thinks that a person's condition can be so bad that they aren't even buried, wondering if his fate will be the same. Najib tries to scare the vultures away, but they attack him, and he runs away. The next morning, Najib tries to escape, but the sheikh sees him and chases him on a camel. The sheikh shoots at him but misses. Out of fear, Najib falls, and the sheikh beats him so badly with the gun that his leg breaks, ensuring he can't try to escape again. He ties Najib's hands and feet, denying him water. At night, Najib painstakingly frees his hands and drinks water. Time passes, and Najib has been there for about 2 years. One day, while tending to the sheep, it starts to rain in the desert. Najib leads the sheep into a cave and begins to eat his dry bread. He hears voices from the other side of the cave and follows them. To his surprise, he finds a man, who is none other than his brother Hakim. They embrace and cry. Hakim explains that he worked in many places and was tortured. He suggests they escape. Najib tells him about previous failed attempts that resulted in a broken leg. Hakim insists, saying that seeing his brother once is enough for him, even if he dies. A caravan arrives, and Hakim leaves with them. The next day, while Najib tends the camels, Hakim returns and leaves a note under a stone. Lame, Najib reaches the paper, which says that where Hakim works, there's an African man named Ibrahim who knows all the paths and is willing to help. The three meet, and Ibrahim says that a big sheikh's son is getting married soon, and everyone will be busy. That will be their chance to escape. Finally, the day arrives. Everyone is at the wedding, so Najib bathes in the water tank for the first time in years. He wears the old clothes from when he first arrived in Saudi Arabia, now so loose that he ties them with a rope. He feeds and bids farewell to the sheep before leaving. The three set off on their journey. Soon, they encounter desert snakes. Ibrahim pulls Hakim away, but Najib stands still, with a snake near his leg. Ibrahim warns him not to move, and the snake eventually leaves. Walking barefoot in the desert leaves Najib's feet wounded. Ibrahim tears his coat to bandage Najib's feet. By now, hunger and thirst have severely weakened them. Ibrahim encourages them, but Hakim and Najib both collapse. To revive them, Ibrahim gives them his sweat to drink. They have been in the desert for 3 days. Hakim's body is giving up, and he sees a city ahead, but it's just a hallucination. Perhaps his mind is failing. He pushes them away and runs off, eating sand in his thirst. He collapses and dies. Najib cries for his brother, remembering their mother's words to care for his younger brother, but he failed. In the distance, a sandstorm approaches. Ibrahim starts dragging Najib away from the storm, and amidst the chaos, Hakim's body disappears. They stay put until the storm subsides, resuming their journey the next day. Ibrahim is also now severely affected by hunger and thirst. After walking a short distance, they spot a pond. Najib rushes towards it, but Ibrahim stops him, warning that the water might be poisonous. They use a cloth to filter and sip a small amount of water. Near the pond, Ibrahim finds a glass bottle and begins to play a tune on it. Some birds are drawn to the sound, giving them a sense of direction. They set off again, and soon it becomes night. Najib, now too weak to walk, collapses. They sleep there for the night. In the morning, when Najib wakes up, he finds Ibrahim has left, but he has left a bottle of water for him. Najib drinks the water and starts his journey again, slowly making his way forward. After 2 days, Najib spots a road. He reaches the road and starts asking people for a ride, but his condition is so poor that no one stops to help. Then, a man in a car comes by and assists him, giving him water and offering him a ride into the city. Once there, Najib limps into a Malayali restaurant owned by a man named Kunjika. Seeing Najib's dire state, Kunjika takes pity on him, helps him recover, and arranges for his medical treatment. He also calls the number Najib gives him, allowing Najib to speak to his family. It had been 4 years since Najib arrived there. Due to incomplete paperwork, he is kept in jail for 3 months. Those who escape from their company are usually caught by the sheikhs, but Najib's sheikh does not take him back. The sheikh admits to a mistake, saying he took Najib instead of someone else who was supposed to work for him. After spending 3 months in jail, Najib prepares to return home to India. The Saudi Arabian government has arranged for Najib and many others like him to return. Reflecting on his experience, Najib realizes that while many people bring expensive gifts for their families from the Gulf, he only has one thing to offer his wife and child: his remaining years of life. This is the only thing he can give them. And so, the story ends here. This tale teaches us to appreciate and find joy in what we already have. In pursuit of something better, we often lose what we have, only to regret it later.